What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be taking a look at a title called Lords of Ravage. We had an opportunity to take a look at this game like 2, 3, 4 years ago. It was a long time ago. When it was first in its infancy, they had kind of like a pitch version of the game that we played around with. Well, the developers are back, and they've got ourselves another demo that we can fool around with, and so I figured we'd take a look today at this little RPG where you are the Sauron-style evil bad guy that's kind of conquesting and taking over the map and using your troops as a meat shield. When you lose your army in this game, you're rewarded by being able to like superhero land on the battlefield with your big bad evil guy and cleave people in twain and all that kind of fun stuff. And so I've always found that I'm a fan of games where I get to be the bad guy. I like being the bad guy, but then I choose all of the good dialogue options because it makes me feel bad that I'm hurting the AI's feelings. And so anyways, we're going to look at Lords of Ravage for the next 30 minutes and see if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list or otherwise pass on. Link is down below. This is a public demo that anybody can play. On top of that, you can also find links to other Nerd Castle stuff down there. But let's go ahead and start off. Where is everyone? This place, it reminds me of something. Damn it, it's so hard to focus on anything. I think I was searching for something. I was leading some kind of expedition. Is that why I'm here? The last thing I remember was the war with King Wolkalim. One memory will lead to another. I need to focus on the day where it all started. Good looking transition. Like the assets, too, that they're using right here. It's very stark. It's very clean looking. Your Highness, Lord Barald has arrived. My king, the enemy has intensified their counteroffensive. Our troops had to abandon the eastern coast, and in the southern direction, we've already lost the second corps. If we keep up like this, my king, please, we're short of fighters, and... No, Barald, it's out of the question. But my king, while my knights are in prison, your men are dying on the battlefield. Your knights massacred a monastery. They went all Wild West with, it's Mad Dog McCree, it's a massacre, run for your life. The army's starving and they've been hoarding the food. We came here to liberate these people, Barald, not kill them. I will not pardon murderers. We're at war, Serill. There's no one here but murderers. Your Highness, we're under attack. We'll talk later, Barald. For right now, I need you on the front lines. Yes, my king. Alright, so in Lords of Ravage, we're going to be doing standard fare, sort of darkest dungeon, you go, I go, JRPG style combat. This is Barald. Man, this fiend is dangerous, but we need only delay him. Such a futile effort, this won't take long. These guys just like signed up for the suicide detail. They're like totally fine and okay with it. But for right now, on our turn, they want me to use the Maim ability. Maim is a big nuclear attack that also puts a long-term bleed on the enemy that makes them lose a bunch of health whenever they take a turn. This game does function on AP. You'll note that every single ability either has a cooldown, which means that it's free, but you can't use it for a while, or it'll have like a little icon that lets you know how many AP it's going to cost you to fire that whole thing off. Later on in the game, we'll have like 4 or 5 units that are taking the field just like these guys are, and our hero won't show up until they've all been slain or we hit like a limit break. But for right now, they're kind of like showing off the core basic gameplay. Bleed popped on him. This guy's going to walk up and slash me real quick. That was a really smooth bow firing animation right there. That was very clean looking. And you'll note that even with their entire team pounding on me, you see how much my HP moved? It's a real bad thing for the enemy when our hero shows up. They want me to pop unnatural strength now. That's going to get rid of a bunch of our debuffs, and it's going to make it so that we've got a little bit of a shield on us. I'm going to finish this guy off and cleave the guy next to him, and then we'll take it on over to the next turn. Okay, a little 6 HP damage shot right there, 14 on that side. In this game, you do have kind of like raid mechanics, I guess. You are the raid boss, and so your character has stages. As the enemy increases the combat stage, your boss gets stronger and stronger and stronger and unlocks new abilities, sort of like he's getting more You know how like raid bosses have sort of like triggers, like in rage timers, or, you know, when you get their HP to a certain level, they swap into a new phase? Exact same idea here. So it looks like on phase 2 we get a 30% damage reduction, and on phase 3 we get 50% more damage to everything that we hit. For right now, let's maim this guy up, and that was enough to kill him. I do like that they animated the fatalities right there for enemies dying and whatnot. We'll go ahead and let him take his turn, but he's just a lonely archer with a bunch of pointy sticks in the back line now that we're ready to rock, and I think he's about to have a really bad time. I don't think I have any other abilities that I can pop off, so I think we're just going to have to wait it on out. However, we did hit phase 3, which made us even gnarlier, and you can see now that we've entered like our you are not prepared phase of the fight. Down goes the enemy. Oh, and apparently killing him gave me permanent power right there. I like absorbed his soul. I don't know exactly what esoteric 0.2 power means, but hey. Soldier, we're under attack. Why are these knights still imprisoned? King Serill told us that under no condition, open the gates or you'll join the rest of the corpses. Yes, Lord Barold. Your orders are to defend King Serill. I'll go free the rest of the Dread Knights. I feel like there's a point in your military career where if your team is called the Dread Knights, you might consider that you might be the bad guys straight out. Like, do they have skulls on their helmets? You know what I mean? Stand your ground. What's this? Reinforcements? Dread Knights. We'll deal with them. Keep the king occupied. Walkalim's champions? We need to be careful. Alright, so we've got ourselves an encounter right here. Let's throw down with these mooks and see if we can turn them into mulch. Wow, they really went out of their way to like populate the background with just sort of like environmental art. Like it actually feels like you're fighting in a real place where there's kind of like overlaying hills and there's sort of like visual points of interest in the background. The art team really delivered on this one. So at the beginning of fights, we get to deploy our units. I will put my Blackguard right there. I will put a Dread Knight right there. I will put a lieutenant kind of in the middle of it all, and we'll sort of see how this whole thing plays on out. I don't know if we get a sort of like bonus or anything for arranging people inside of certain grids, but that would be a cool feature. Like, I think that would be rad where if you place people in certain combinations in certain locations. There was an X-Men game on the PlayStation 2 that did something like that, where you got like extra additive bonuses to your little Diablo-style grinding team. If you had certain loadouts and certain specs that were all together, you would pop different perks. So for right now, we need to apply a mark to one of our targets. I'll probably go for this guy because he's the lowest armored. What does the mark do? It looks like... Oh, I'm forcing the enemy to attack me. Alright, we'll put that on my Dread Knight then. I thought I was going to be marking up the enemy like a hunter's mark or something like that, but it's a free ability. It didn't cost us anything to play it. So let's get started with the DPS. This guy has more damage out and more damage in as a result of being hit. This guy's got shadow armor, and so we'll put that on him. That means that he's going to have some temporary HP meter, and he's going to reflect a little bit of damage whenever he gets smacked by the enemy, considering we just put a buff on him that makes him the sole focus of the enemy. That means he'll probably be spreading it around a little bit, although in a game where we're hitting, well, I guess we're hitting for like 10 HP. It's not that big of a deal. What does this guy do over here? He's got order. So another follower deals 100% damage to a random enemy. Oh, it's like a free attack. All right, but they don't animate or anything when they do it. It just kind of like passively applies the damage. Gotcha. He doesn't have enough AP to actually do anything on his turn. You can see them denoted over here on the right. These little pips on this side. It took me a little while to notice them when I was playing through the demo last time. But once you finally notice them, they are there. They're also on the character, I guess, on their feet right here. But it's a very visually busy game. And I don't mean that in like a bad way. It's just like there's a lot of environmental effects and spell effects stuff. Easy thing to miss right there. We'll go ahead and bypass our turn. We'll let the enemy do their thing. They did, predictably, all attack my knight over here. Unfortunately, they did a lot of damage. Wow, dude, they smoked him. One of your units has died and freed up your combat space. So I'm going to put in an archer back here that can fire on their lines. That character's supposed to die right there. We didn't do anything wrong. We didn't play him properly. We're doing like JRPG style combat. So like what's more JRPG than having sort of like a forced scripted death or like bosses you can't actually beat. Let's have the archer fire a shot at somebody. He hit the mage. That's actually really good for us, and the archer's nice because the archer gets 2 attacks. So I'm gonna have him sort of like focus on this guy in the back and just sort of like see what amount of damage we can get off on him. Go ahead and bypass the turn because we've used all of our AP. More damage is gonna be going out. We've got another reinforcement that we can play around with here. Let's get another Dread Knight up inside of here. And one thing you're going to want to kind of get used to is the fact that your characters in this game are sort of disposable. Like, in all honesty, you shouldn't feel bad when a unit dies. The only unit here that needs to be protected is going to be your main boss guy. You know, that's the only guy that you've got any penalty or problem for losing. Let's finish off the mage because it looked like he was their principal damage dealer. And in all things, we'll follow the rule of Shadowrun and we'll stick with Geek the Mage. And then I don't think we're going to do a whole lot of damage here to this guy. It seems like he's got a lot of armor. I'm guessing that's what that number is on the left on that side. End the turn, he's going to come out and he's going to smack my giant Morningstar guy. That's okay. Let's get a stab off on you. We need to find some way to sunder his armor. Do I have like a ability that will shed off some of that armor? I've got a big 200% damage smash. I'll take that. That works. And his order's back up and running too, so might as well get some supplementary damage right there because it means the archer will probably be able to finish him off and murder him. It seems like Walkalim's forces are retreating for now, no doubt to return later. Your knights have fought valiantly once again, Berold. I've reconsidered their sentence. They are sentenced to 5 years of imprisonment when the war is over. What kind of mockery is this? These knights just saved your life. Nonetheless, they disobeyed my direct order. They've committed war crimes and treason. They must be punished. Your orders are the very thing that got us into this situation. And I gave those orders for a reason. You're short-sighted, Berold. We cannot build our future on fear. Fear is the only language that they understand. It's a necessity. You of all people should know that. You've authorized the creation of the Dread Knights. No, Berold, I created the Grey Shields and you turned them into Dread Knights. I've had enough of your insubordination. I am appointing General Sagaris as the leader of the Dread Knights. We'll see about that, young king. Berold, you wouldn't dare. You've left me with no other options, Serill. Dread Knights. For so long we were a bulwark for an ungrateful king. Today we take our fate into our own hands. I will lead you into greatness, and I promise that we will find an artifact of great power. The power it possesses will allow us to shape the destiny of the kingdom of Lucerys. And we got $200. Who knew that king slaying could be so effective as a tactic? Alright, I'll take my 200 bucks and our army leveled up a little bit. I can live with that. So the first thing we'll need to do is we actually need to bolster up our army and make it a little bit stronger. At the moment, all we really have is a big old wad of like melee guys and one archer. If you're wondering why the banners are different colors on these characters, it's because your army is sorted into generics and distincts. So one of the major aspects of this game, the roguelike aspect of this game, is that as you play through, there's going to be events that give you opportunities to purple banner some of your units. When you purple banner a unit, it means they become capable of leveling up and being customized, whereas gray banner units, like the Blackguard over here, they can't be customized. They're just like generic level 1 mooks that get ended. And that's one of the principal decisions you're going to have to make as you play through the game, is that you get a limited amount of units that you can banner and customize versus ones that are just there to kind of get mulched and hold the line. And that's sort of like the idea that they're playing around with on that front. We've got a Knight Lieutenant Elite over here that could potentially get hired. Okay. The other option is that we can get a rando. We don't have a ton of money for right now, so I will hire a rando. So we got a Cult Evangelist. The leader gains a permanent +5 power and 10 health bonus. Not bad. I could take that. We'll hire another one. We've got a hired blade over here. On death, we gain 10 gold, so I guess he's going to be kind of like pickpocketing and robbing the enemy. Let's hire like 2 more and just sort of see what we get. We got a Fanatic. We gain 3 energy points and return 2 edicts from the discard pile to hand. Don't know what that is yet, but maybe it'll be useful later. And we got a second Fanatic right there. That should be good enough for our warband at the beginning of the game. I think we'll be all right. Your units, they do heal if they're wounded as you're working your way through the map. And there's going to be points of interest over here that have kind of like cool parallax effects on them and things like that. They've also given us a little bit of books. Books are how we level up our units over here. And so I'm going to level up his crush, and I'll probably take it up to level 3 in all honesty. Just because 300% damage is hard to turn down every other turn. And then this guy right here makes the enemy take even more damage. I'll take that too. He's the only character we can customize, so we may as well go all in on his customization. A fragment of your memory will be restored, unlocking a new edict, relic, or unit. All right, let's head over there on the map. This place does not belong here. A thick blue fog slowly engulfs the entire place, seemingly from nowhere. It makes your head spin, filling it with faded imagery of your past. But is it a dream? A memory? I will break the cycle, and it looks like we got a relic. An apocalypse locket. The leader deals 15% damage to each enemy on the end of our turn. Oh wow, that's kind of sick. I'll take that. Yes, a memory. Some of the details got lost, but you remember it now. One more fragment in the loop. Maybe there's a way to break it. Okay, what's down here? Get a potential regular unit and form a dark alliance with a random unit. Okay. It seems like some of your followers joined a group of local cutthroats. As you approach, they recognize you as the leader. So it looks like we can banner our Dread Knight, and it looks like we'll get a free cutthroat. Or we can get Menace and 26 gold. What Menace is at the top of the screen, there's a number right here. Certain decisions that you make are going to escalate the intensity of how the enemy reacts to you. And so if you do a lot of brutal and vicious things like executing villages and killing people unnecessarily, your menace will go up. I think rewards go up when your menace goes up, but also the enemy's strength just goes up because they are escalating and getting stronger in the face of your threat. I'll banner my knights for right now because I think I have a couple of Dread Knights inside my group. And what you will see is these guys should be bannered now. Yeah, they're now a part of my Dark Alliance so that I can upgrade them. I'll probably upgrade their shadow armor since that's one of their main utilities that they bring to the field is the ability to tank. I'll go ahead and take that. We have 2 random regular units on this side that we'll get. A Zenith Pact convoy is traveling nearby. The convoy is poorly defended and clearly traveling back from its destination. You have no means to cut off their retreat, but there is a good spot for an ambush nearby. Alright, you slash through the convoy defenders, but the commander quickly orders the rest of the convoy to scatter, which limits your spoils, but we did get a couple more units to fill in just sort of our rank and file. We can scout some nodes from right here, and we're working our way towards the question mark. I don't see, I think the path goes down this way, so let's go get our gold real fast. You find an old gold mine, and it appears to have been abandoned in a hurry. There's some unrefined gold ore left. The amount is greater than your troops can carry. I can wound my troops to carry even more gold. That seems like an evil guy thing to do. I'll wound my troops to carry more gold. You stand before the ruins of an ancient First Empire archive. Though hundreds of years have passed since the fall of the Empire, archives in the Conflux seems to be in far better condition than the ones found across the world. No doubt this has something to do with the anomaly at the center of the Conflux. Okay, I'll take the books. Books sound good. I like upgrading my units. And then over here, we'll get another relic. It looks like actually we bannered our visitors. Okay. And then we always want to go for the yellow question mark wherever it is on the overall world map. Looks like we've got to fight against about 6 enemies. So this one's going to be a bit of a throwdown. It's going to be a little bit more aggressive than expected. I think at this point, I may actually speed up the combat a little bit. The game does feature a number of different combat speeds that you could play at as you're going through the game. Our Blackguard's kind of wounded, but we can only start out with 3 guys, so I guess I'll put him out here. Oh, that guy's a wizard? I didn't know he was a wizard. Now he's in the front. I'll put the archer in the back too, but I think there's a gap in our line that's going to let him get to us. What do? You do 20% true damage and applies Sunder Armor to a random enemy. He's also got Claim, which steals an AP and removes negative status effects from another ally. Okay, let's go with Veiled Storm for right now. Cool spell effect right there, I like that. I don't know if I want to steal an AP from one of my allies for right now. Let's go for a Ruthless Strike maybe on this shield guy right here. And then with my archer in the back, Let's horribly wound him. And actually, because he puts dots on the enemy, we kind of want to... Oh, it goes on cooldown. Never mind. Okay. So I was thinking that because he's got this horrible maiming thing on his auto attack, I should just go through and auto attack everything I possibly can, but it looks like that's on a cooldown right there to stop me from doing precisely that. Let's end the turn. We'll see what happens when the enemy attacks. And it looks like a whole bunch of damage was scattered around. And in fact, I think with it on speedy mode, it's a little bit too fast for me. I'd like something interim in between those two speeds right there. Let's go for we'll keep the damage up on this guy. Let's drop another bit of mayhem on them to increase the amount of damage that they take from various sources. And I think we'll just keep our focus fire on this guy. Am I getting armor every time we attack? Oh yeah, looky, so the higher you keep his health, every time he attacks, he buffs up the armor of the king. Okay. Interesting little interaction to keep note of. They are really laying into this guy, but then I guess it could be worse. They could be laying into my mages and whatnot. Let's go with, we get one more guy right here. Let's drop another fanatic back here. And what does the fanatic do? He's got exalt. He puts 2 stacks of resistance on an ally and deals 50% damage to random enemies 3 times. All right, we'll armor him up and then just shank away. That's your entire course of action right now, is just shanking your ass off. Let's maybe put a little bit of fire on that priest in the back just to put some pressure on him. Do I have any extra APs left? I do not. But I do have a Ruthless Strike right here. Just deal some damage while we wait. Okay, he attacked my archer. He's casting heals, so yeah, we definitely need to smoke him first. Lost an archer right there. That means that everybody else gets armor, though, because he had a passive ability that means when he dies, he gives everybody temporary health, which is pretty sick. Occult Evangelist. I don't know if he's melee or ranged. One thing I would suggest is get an icon system that goes along the side of the card, like maybe in this space right here, like a sword for melee, like a little magical star for magic caster, like an arrow for a ranged character. Something like that would be helpful because I don't actually know what these guys do. I suppose I'll learn as I go along. Let's get a little bit of damage out on, I mean, anybody and everybody in all fairness. Doesn't really matter. Keep dropping nukes on all these cats. What do you do? Blessing from Beyond. You get 2 stacks of focus and deals 100% damage to a random enemy. Okay. Let's go ahead and buff him, I guess. It seems like he hits pretty hard. And then we've got Devote. Doom this follower to add an AP and 1 charge for each ability to another follower. What does Doom do? Deals damage to itself? Okay. Add an AP to him. And then let's get out here and just shank the hell out of whatever we can shank the hell out of. That'll work. We've got Cleanse over on this side, but I don't know how many status effects are on people. It's kind of hard to like, oh, you can do it on this side like an MMO. Okay. So he's got Sunder Armor. Yeah, I guess Cleanse him. There we go. He'll take less damage. They're doing a remarkably good job at focus firing me right now. Alright, so on the player's turn, let's keep focusing on just whoever we can kill. His attacks are kind of random. Yeah, so you never know quite where they're going to go, but hopefully they go somewhere useful. Let's put focused on you again. Got random damage over there. And then I suppose just keep buffing his armor up and keep stabbing. I'm spreading my damage too thin right now for a team that has a healer, but everybody here like attacks randomly. Let's put in another melee guy and build like a concerted front line, I think. There we go, that'll help. Alright, so mark him. And then with him, have him use shadow armor. And then for you, just drop damage on everything we possibly can. And then in your case, go in on him. I do like how the battle kind of escalates as it goes on longer and longer. Like, both sides get more and more units, and it sort of, like, signifies that trickling of units to the horn call, you know? Our team is going brrrr and doing the Boromir thing, even though we're the bad guys, I guess, so, like, Orcamir. And then more people are responding to sort of that din and that throng and the noise of fighting. I think he's the only one left that we've got that's got a little bit of... Oh, I should have had him become focused. That probably would have worked better. Just cleanse him of whatever he's got on him. He's taking an extra 20% damage anyway. Yeah, you can bypass the turn because his 1 AP doesn't really buy anything on his overall track of abilities. There we go. That's what I needed, is I needed some actual tanking to draw fire off this guy, but like the unit draw that we got made that sort of difficult. Throw a little bit more damage around. His mark is not up and off a cooldown yet, but we should be able to seal the deal with some of these guys and lower their overall damage dealt. Yeah, and then we just gotta kind of hope that he attacks the right person, and he did. That big brain logic right there. So he's just gonna heal up whatever this book reading guy is over on this side. I can just imagine that as we're going into combat, we're doing sort of a resume of skills for everybody in the party. And we're like, so what do you do? Well, I can read the Grapes of Wrath really, really fast. I'm like, well, how does that help us in a combat-like situation? Like, I'm not trying to be a dick and split hairs here, but do you have any actual combat experience? Like, honest-to-God fighting prowess? Pretty good for single target once you get them isolated. He only deals bad damage because he's spreading his damage around, but when there's only one target to strike, he's actually pretty vicious. Down you go and away with you. Lord Barald, we are at your service. Where's the rest of the knights? My lord, did you not get the message? They walked straight into the Blackwatch Citadel and slew most of us. We're all that's left. How did you allow it to happen? My lord, we didn't know about the king yet. We just let the troops in. A shrewd move, but not enough to stop us. The High Council will pay for every knight they've slain. With all respect, Lord Barald, how are we going to accomplish that? Patience, knight. I knew this day might come. Tell the other knights to leave their citadels and meet us in the Conflux. I believe there is an artifact of great power hidden there, something that even the full might of Lucerys cannot stand against. Blood and glory await us. Blood and glory! I remember now, Serill, you naive fool. You doomed our kingdom, and I was the one who saved it from you. This is how I ended up among the Lords of Ravage. I was hunted and despised for the hard choices I had to make. To turn the tide, I would need a legendary artifact of unmatched power, the Staff of Archidon. Some people dismiss the very idea of it existing, but I knew it was real. Faded memories of the artifact live on in my mind. There were others who might have seen it. A wizard named Rezior mounted an expedition to the center of the Conflux. It was considered a failure, but something about it didn't add up. There was a massacre at the site that had left few survivors, but they kept their mouths shut. It was time to pay one of them a visit. So we can pick between two different builds of Barald here. We can either be the Lord Commander, which means that he buffs all of our units for all of the things that we do, or we can be the infamous Butcher, which means that we get buffed for everything that our units do. It's really up to you what you want to do. I'll probably go with Lord Commander, though, because thus far we only got to break out Barald once in this overall experience, and so we haven't really got to toy around with the gimmick yet. Dread Knights, while our brothers and sisters are making their way to the Conflicts, we have unfinished business. We're searching for an old man, an outcast. He was last seen in a swamp near the village of Creighton. I expect you to keep this man alive and unharmed. He is instrumental to finding the Staff of Archidon. Fortunately, with most of the Lucerian army busy on the front line, the region is sparsely defended. But there is a small contingent of Lucerians on the way, led by Baroness Lyonette. Her tactical prowess is questionable, but her popularity is not to be underestimated. Given time, she will rally the others to her banner. From what our agents report, she's slowly taking hold of the region, but is yet to predict our move. Very well, let her indulge in her little chase as long as she doesn't get ahead of us. Let's not waste any time. I love this transition right here. It's really good looking. You can tell the art team just went absolutely monkey business on this game. They just went crazy with it, dude. They crashed out. Lost and not defeated. While you and your army are organizing your new headquarters, your agents are evacuating what little remains of your power base outside of the Conflux. With limited numbers, they can only focus on a single goal. We can get better weapons, we can ensure that our troops survive, we can get edicts, which are special abilities. In combat, every turn we get a certain amount of EP, and then we can use it to cast things on the battlefield from the back lines to help out our troops. So that's pretty cool. We can get 6 stacks of thorns. I want that right there. Let's do that because I've already got those little knight guys that have the thorn ability, the knight lieutenants, and we've got the blackguards that can force them to get hit. So if I can have them thorns up and then also put the edict of thorns on them right as the enemy is headed on in, dude, that would be some pretty savage retaliation. We get a random unit right here. You approach your mercenaries camp. You find a follower. Sure, I'll take the archer. We don't have the money for the other options, so why bother? I'll probably also try to grab units from over here. Your agents have their hands on a list of prisoners. One stood out. One of your important agents had been captured and transferred to a local prison. Judging by the fact that he wasn't handed over to the Zenith Pact immediately, the guards failed to realize who they had captured. Your troops easily overwhelm the guards and free the agent. So we can get 45 books, or we can make it so knight lieutenants are now bannered. And we get 2 extra units. I'll take that. That's too good to not use. That's really, really nice. So he should be added. Yeah, he is. He's added on in now. Very nice. I don't know when it's going to update his banner. Like, he should have a purple banner, but, like, at least from the way that I understand it. But maybe it'll update it at some point. Like, maybe it's a little demo bug. 30 gold over here. You approach an old gold mine. Okay, so we're getting repeat events right here. Definitely don't want to see that in a demo. You're really trying to showcase the variety and the replayability of your game inside of a demo, because that's a big thing that kind of attracts people to the idea of a title. And so having repeat events already when we've only been playing for 30 minutes is not a good thing. This used to be a place where Imperial mages conducted their experiments. While most of the notes are missing, there is information available, especially on edicts. Ooh, I can upgrade my Thorns edict. Hell yeah, let's do that. We also get books. I'm gonna take the books. Oh, I don't have the guy that blocks. This is the Knight Lieutenant. This is the guy that drops the giant nuke hits on people. Okay, well, I'll take his free ability then, and I'll upgrade it, because it does give us a free attack, so why not? There's 40 gold down here. Alright, so I traveled around a little bit and grabbed everything, because the events are mostly like repeats as of right now. We got some new units. We got a little bit of resources, so we're not in a bad position at the moment. What does, like, adding another level of mark do? Let's have the Blackguard upgrade Bulwark. Yeah, because now whoever's behind him in the layout takes 40% less damage, which means that we can put Squid, and I think all these guys get that upgrade, and I've got enough of them that I can sort of put them out on the front lines and make that work. I need to scroll this guy right here, the Dread Knight. He's the one that has the thorns. Love these battlefields, man. They look really, really good. Super clean looking. We did not get our main guy on this first throw, which is unfortunate. There's a Blackguard right there. Maybe we'll fill out our front line first. That feels like a solid play to me. We have our edicts, so our leader can gain 2 power, applies 2 stacks of weakened, adds 1 charge to each ability of the target ally. Okay, let's put that on him because he's got this thing right here that gives us free attacks. Oh, but it's on a cooldown. Okay, fair enough. Let's put weaken on the wizard. And we are now officially exhausted and we've used up all of our edicts. Let's go with... I don't really care how they spread around the damage. I'll be honest with you. I don't really care, so I don't think I really need to set anybody else up as main tank right now. It doesn't feel like that's going to be a pressing thing to do. I guess I'll focus it all on him. That way I have to heal less after the combat. Okay. He got a little scuffed up. He got a little scuffy boyed. Let's give another order here. He's going to deal damage to the wizard. I am curious. This right here adds clarity to an ally. It said that it reduces cooldowns by 1 until the end of the battle. But it doesn't look like, so it can't take it down to 0, I'm guessing. Bow! Go to sleep. You just gotta love those big thumper hits that games give you every now and again. We'll let them spread the damage around a little bit and kind of see what they do. I think I should get reinforcements on. Wow, he hits hard. Who would have known that the guy with the giant 9-foot sword would hit hard? Okay, give me an archer. We'll kind of like add him on into the equation. Let's add the leader's power to the archer because, oh, that's attack right there. That's not defense. Okay. Yeah, that was the good stuff right there. Keep the pressure up on the wizard. Make him think about it. Let's go with order. He's got the buff, so we might as well have him take another shot. Let's focus this guy down. And I'll probably just let my EP stack up a little bit. Woof, they spread it around pretty good right now. So what I need from you is I need you to drop your big hit on him. There we go. I need some kind of tangible progress to be made. Wizard's down, so we got the snipe with the random. Let's go with leader gains 10% power, applies 8 stacks of thorns to the target. We'll put 8 stacks of thorns on him. We'll mark him. We'll attack here. That should be a kill right there. He's still got 2 left. It sucks that when he's got 2 AP on that, it doesn't stay on your clicker and let you just click twice for the repeated attack. Maybe like a shift-click interaction would make that feel good. So he's like a paladin. He's like healing while he's smiting us. Okay. Oh, he's literally called a paladin. All right, I didn't see his name until just now. Either way, though, he's about to be a deadadin. Bye. We gained some XP right there, so that's nice. And then we've got 2 locations that we can check out for extra XP. But this is Lords of Ravage. So far, I'm interested in what it's playing around with. I kind of like the systems that they've got going on, and I absolutely adore the art. I can't speak to as to what the replayability and whatnot's going to look like, or if there's going to be other guys you can play as other than Baroness, but I'll keep an eye on it. And like maybe down the road we'll do some recoverage of it once it releases into 1.0 to see what new additions get on in here. I like it so far though, and I'm not a big fan of sort of static you go I go combat for the most part, but they do have enough conditional opponent components, and they do have enough little things in there adding to the experience that it has me interested. And God, would you just look at the art style of the game, dude. Just looking absolutely fantastic. I will see you all later. Thank you for stopping on in. That's about all I got for you for now, and I'll catch you all tomorrow with something hot fresh off the indie skillet. Bye, folks.